filling those roles. So that's just one of the things that must be done as part of this response to the court order by October 28th. I can tell you that Superintendent Fields has no plans to distribute Bibles or a biblical character ed curriculum, and we intend to file, if Jackie has not already done that, we intend to file a motion to dismiss the proceedings. So that's about all that I know based on the 24 hours that we've had to review that court order. But if you all have questions about next steps on what that process looks like, that's why I asked Jackie to be here with me today so we can try and answer your questions. I saw Paige's hand first.
Bibles are already in classrooms. Will those remain in the classrooms? Will those be taken out?
I think at this point we will just let it be and then issue guidance to schools on what to do with those. Right now we just need to first of all, focus on responding to this court order within the deadline that we have, and then sort of get our plans together for how to give schools guidance to move forward. I think I saw your hand next, sir.
Yeah, Sean Murphy with the AP. There's a number of other mandates that Superintendent Walters delivered to schools, directing schools to have Turning Point USA chapters, guidance on testing and school lunches. Have any of those been rescinded, or are there any plans to rescind any of those other directives?
We have to review all of those. We're sort of starting with the priority things first. So the budget is the one thing we're working on very quickly right now to try and get that to our board members. We'll need to look at all of those things to give guidance to schools, specifically on the turning points when, for example, I know there's confusion because many school districts already had a turning points chapter. There were already mechanisms in place at the local levels for students to establish those clubs. And so we just need to clearly communicate with schools if they're already doing that, continue. And if they don't know how to do that, then how can we help them put those structures in place to make those options available for students? But to answer your question, we need to review all of those mandates and provide clarity to schools moving forward. Yeah.
I know that there will be a motion to dismiss. Is that the only option to kind of remove this lawsuit, or can the other side step in? Kind of what are the options here to get this?
That will be our preference for our side of it, is to do the motion to dismiss. I understand the other side could pursue further action if they want to. So they also will have the option to dismiss, or they could continue the lawsuit, is my understanding of it at this point. But if that changes, I can certainly let you know. Yeah, Lionel.
There's more than one lawsuit
This-
against the Bible mandates.
Oh, that I don't know. Do we have more than one outstanding right now, Jackie?
I just wanted to make sure to clarify that point.
I think we have several outstanding lawsuits, but I think this was the only one with regard to the Bibles. Yeah.
Hey, Dylan Brown, KFOR. The curriculum, because you also mentioned in press release
Yes.
curriculum. Could you specify what curriculum exactly? And then my other question is, the PragerU partnership that existed, that has some Bible curriculum inside of it. So I guess that goes hand in hand with my first question.
So on your first question, I'm trying to confirm both of those things, actually. We've yet to find a PragerU contract. So I'm continuing to investigate that because I'd like to be able to give you that definitive answer of, is there a contract? Is there an MOU? Is there anything? Was it just conversations in the media? But I haven't found a contract yet. But then to go back to your question about the curriculum, the court order referenced a couple of different things in there. None of them, I don't believe, and you'll have to go back and check me, were a specific curriculum. One was like sort of guidelines for teachers. So I don't think we're going to have to do anything to address curriculum, but that will come up as part of this contract review. We need to know what's on the books, what's in process, and so as soon as I find or don't find that contract, I will let you know. Yes?
Do you think this reversal reflects more of an acknowledgement that we need to preserve separation of church from state, or an acknowledgement that the decisions to mandate Bibles were made here in the Hodge building rather than in local districts?
I think for us right now, it's not a priority right now. We're grateful to have some movement in this lawsuit and hope that we can dismiss it. And I'm not sure if I'm really answering your question on that, but really what we're trying to do is focus on getting things operational, restoring communications with those school districts, and honoring the local control that they do have in those school districts and those local boards to make a lot of those decisions. But right now there's so much confusion on a number of topics, as our colleague alluded to earlier. We're having to prioritize what do we need to tackle first to make sure that things are rolling. State testing will be one of the next ones that we really need to clarify for our school districts, because that testing window will be here before we know it.
And are we going to continue the partnership with New Greenwood to try to raise funds to provide?
This is another one I need to check into, because I haven't found a contract yet on that, so I'm not sure if it was a verbal agreement, but that's one of the things that we're reviewing in this 30 to 90-day window to find out what exists, because we've had several questions about that. I understand that there's also apparently perhaps even fundraising taking place, and so these are things that we need to investigate and correct.
Was the budget that was handed down, I know that, they're wanting to go over the budget next week. Was the budget that was handed down from Walters, did that include funds for Bibles?
That I don't know. I can find out for you, though. No,
It did not.
thinking it did not.
Have you guys heard anything from school districts about where they are as far as this issue goes and having those Bibles in their classrooms? Anyone's in the back or, no one here?
Not yet. You guys are the first ones that called me when the court order came out last night.
This kind of goes into it too, the social studies standards, and you
Yeah.
kind of talked about this before. Social studies standards has Bible references, Bible mentions, that could be curriculum. Where do we stand on those? I know there's a lawsuit with that as well. Can you speak to that a bit?
We're still in limbo on that as well. As you know, that the court had stopped the implementation of those, and so at this point, we're trying to figure out, again, what guidance do we give districts? Is it to revert back to those 2019 standards, which could then even have further applications as far as budget implications? Do the textbooks that were supposed to be purchased for curriculum for social studies, what happens with that money now for those local districts? So there's still a lot of unanswered questions that we've got to find solutions and answers to be able to give districts guidance. Good questions, and I wish I had more solid answers for you, but I think we're going to keep seeing each other the next couple of weeks, and so I expect we'll continue to roll out answers on these things.
My understanding is that a lot of districts weren't complying with the mandate on Bible instruction anyway.
Could be.
Is that fair, and do you have any estimate on how many districts were complying?
I don't know. I'm like you, I've heard some of this and some of that, but no, I don't have a hard number for you.
Realistically, it seems like you guys have been looking at a lot of things and have found a lot of things. There's still confusion on some things. How long do you think it would take to get all of this sorted out?
I wish I had a good answer for you on that, because some of it will depend on, so for example, I've received a lot of questions on the teacher certification tests. And the short version of that is we need to look at, because of how they were rolled in, they were rolled in through administrative rules. So we don't know how do we make changes to something that was part of an administrative rule. So that's something that we're having to investigate, just individual on each of these issues as they come up. Each one has its own nuances, and so as much as I'd love to be able to tell you we'll have the answers by this day, talking about the Bible mandate and then the court order and potentially dismissal, while all good news and I think, positive momentum in the direction that we can all be proud of, didn't have that one on the calendar today.
When you mentioned a couple of times that there were contracts that you haven't been able to find, are you indicating that there's a possibility that some of these things were made up?
Aaron, I don't know if I want to jump out on that limb, but I could confirm, yes, we've heard a lot of things in the press, and now as we start to, and I'm not insulting you all at all, lots of statements were made publicly, let me say it that way, lots of statements were made publicly, and now as we're doing our research and homework on that, we're finding that maybe it wasn't as presented. Yes, sir.
You still have to take naturalization tests coming from New York.
That's one of my questions. Nothing has changed at this point, but we're looking into that because as Superintendent Fields indicated earlier, teacher recruitment retention is one of his priorities. And I think, one more test on our teachers, it doesn't help with either one of those things.
What kind of staffing changes within the agency have we seen so far, and what can we expect with that moving forward?
To my knowledge, there have only been 2 people that have left the agency at this point since I've been here about 2 weeks, I think now. And then moving forward, we're really just trying to get everyone settled. As you know, the turnaround team is still finding their places in the building and also their roles and responsibilities. Superintendent Fields is meeting today with the senior leadership team, which is a group of about 15 to 20 people over different departments. And so really trying to just get things settled at this point and really clearly establish processes, both expectations for behavior, professional conduct, those sorts of things, but also how we communicate with one another. I think you all have already experienced too sometimes a lack of communication or miscommunication. So we're working on all of those processes that really make for a good functioning organization, in addition to tackling all the challenging issues that are staring us in the face.
Has the superintendent had any input from lawmakers around what options are for things like the administrative rules and the like?
If he has, Lionel, he hasn't shared it with me yet. Again, we're sort of addressing some of these things as they come up and needed to tackle some of the more pressing ones immediately. Open records request is another one that's on my list to try and get those, a better process for that so that we can get that information that's been requested out the door in a much more timely manner.
Quick follow-up, as far as determining what's a priority and what's not, how are you guys going about that?
It's sort of like an operational efficiency mindset, Lionel. So, for example, the budget is obviously a big one because of the timelines that we're under, and also we just need that to operate. The testing question is another one because we know, again, that testing window will be coming up soon, but also our districts need to understand what do they need to be doing as far as preparing to deliver those tests. So those are just two examples. We're trying to take it kind of in a triage type of mindset with what do we need to do next to affect the greatest good and get things back to an operational level.
Does navigating the associated standards play a role in that, since that could impact the budget proposal?
Absolutely. We need to get answers on how we move forward with that topic too. I appreciate your guys' patience for me saying I don't know a lot. It's a lot of I don't knows right now, but we're finding answers and getting them to you as quickly as we can. So you'll probably see me a lot the next couple of weeks.
You mentioned, sorry.
You're okay.
The two people did they leave or were they fired?
All I can confirm is that they're no longer OSDE employees. Hey, Olivia. Yeah,
Thanks for taking our questions today.
absolutely.
What's the big thing you want Oklahoma teachers, parents, students to get out of this group conversation today, specifically to the Bibles? Because I know a lot of people are going to tune in tonight, and this has been a conversation now for quite some time. So, what's really the big thing you want people to get out of this today?
I think the biggest message is that the team is dedicated to making sure that taxpayer dollars are well spent. And I know there was a lot of conversation about that, publicly, privately, about was this the best expenditure of taxpayer dollars? And I'm not here to say yay or nay to that, but I am here to tell you that we are looking at every dollar, every contract, every vendor, and making sure that our taxpayers, that we can look them in the face and say, yes, we are spending your tax dollars responsibly and we're being good stewards with the money that you're sending us.
Just so I'm clear, what was the reason for rescinding this mandate in particular? Was it budget? Was it local control? Was it?
I'm not sure that I understand what you're asking. I'm sorry.
Well, why did the superintendent rescind this mandate on the Bible for the schools?
It's just come about because of this court order, and we are going to have to report to the court what is our plan moving forward, and so that is what has triggered it.
I know that's what triggered it, but I mean, why rescind the mandate? Why not?
Well, I think it goes back to, again, the response I just gave to her. Is it the best expense of taxpayer dollars? That's the question that we're asking as we do much of our reviewing. Are we spending taxpayer dollars wisely and as good stewards? And if the answer to that is no, then we need to start looking at rescinding or making changes to things that have been put in place.
This might be a question for you, but along those same lines, were you looking ahead and thinking, well, we're going to have to defend this at some point at the Supreme Court? Again, that would represent an expenditure of taxpayer dollars to defend the mandate.
It could have, yeah. I don't know the best way to answer that question, but I would say if a court case continues, you're exactly right. That's more taxpayer dollars being expended. Hey, Nuria.
Apologies if this has already been asked.
You okay?
Has the court given the agency any other deadlines to respond to lawsuits? And if not,
This is the only one I know of, Nuria, and it's specific to this case.
and with that said, what's the timeline? I don't know if this is a question for you or Jackie. What's the timeline on
Oh, I don't know if we know that with the other lawsuits yet, do you?
I can tell you that I have had conversations with opposing counsel. Alex Lucanitzer is sort of heading up this one, as well as I think you obviously had some questions about the standards. He and I have already had some conversations moving forward. As far as conversations with the superintendent, I have not had any conversations yet directly with him, but he is aware of the situation, not only within the agency, but also some of the things that Tara had alluded to concerning all the other moving pieces, particularly under the standards lawsuit, that there's a lot of things that are going on that are underneath that aren't necessarily the lawsuit itself, right, if that makes sense. And so he and I have had some conversations, and we are looking to have some more conversations, probably not next week, given that the board meeting is next week, but the week after that, to try to look at what we can do as far as the two standards lawsuits. This one, obviously, we got the court ordered deadline. And so, just to be clear, they'll have 10 days to respond to whatever we file. I'm looking to have that filed probably by the end of this week, with OSDE's position. And so after that, their side has 10 days to respond, and then I'm assuming the court will issue a ruling.
Now, the court in the standards lawsuit directed districts to revert to the existing standards that were in effect, correct?
That is correct. So that was the state.
Yes, Aaron?
Maybe this is maybe clarification on Sean's question. I guess, is it the stance of the superintendent that Bibles in classrooms are a waste of taxpayer dollars, or is it his stance that they shouldn't be in the class?
I think they're already in our schools, and Superintendent Fields is a big proponent of local control. And coming from a school district, I can tell you we have them in our media centers for those districts that are on a one-to-one device, meaning a student might have a Chromebook or a laptop or something like that. They can also access those materials there. And so I think it's less about taking a stance and more about giving control back to the local school boards and the local school superintendents in those communities to, have the schools reflect the values of those communities. So I'm not trying to dodge your question, but,
No, I don't think it is.
okay.
I guess a further clarification on that. Has there always been Bibles in schools to a capacity?
To a capacity, yes, Lionel. I think it probably, I don't know that there's a statewide law that says anything about that, but in all the schools that I've worked in or visited or, have friends, family, they're there. And so,
My experience.
but I don't want to say it's, blanket, because there could be a community that it's not in their school. Mhm. Yes, Nuria.
Question for you or for Jackie. In your conversations with the superintendent about the standards lawsuit, has he indicated that he would like to file a similar motion to dismiss? I know it's probably not as simple in that one as it is just throwing him in.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
could we maybe reach a similar conclusion, an amicable solution with plaintiffs?
I haven't had any direct conversations with them about the lawsuit involving the standards, but candidly, I can tell you, we're hoping to get as many of these cases dismissed as quickly as we possibly can, because not only is it work on our employees, a bit of a distraction in some ways, but also, again, it's costing taxpayer dollars. So I would say we are open to having those conversations through the appropriate legal channels to get as many of those cases resolved, peaceably if we can, and if we have to go through the court system, that's what it's there for. But we're hopeful that we can get some of these resolved rather quickly. You're okay. I would say it could be any of those things, Nuria. Probably the easiest thing to do based on the court order and then what's existing is just to revert back to those 2019 standards that do exist. Those were award-winning standards. Our schools have them, are familiar with them. And so in the essence of time, that's an option that's on the table. Is that the one that gets selected? I don't know yet. Hope to have that answered in the next couple of weeks. But I would say it's on the table at this point. Yeah.
We already covered this, I'm sorry, but do you know how many Bibles have already been distributed into schools and how much was spent on them?
I don't, but I can find out for you, Olivia.
Okay.
Okay.
Any kind of what you guys voted.
I don't know if I can answer that question for you today, Lana. How many outstanding cases do we have right now? Do you know? Maybe that could give you a ballpark.
Well, outstanding, I think there are maybe 5. There's the 2 standards cases, which I don't, and then there is this one. And then there are a couple that are in the district court. There's one that's not related to anything. So if you're on OSDN and you see Independent School District number X versus OSDE, it doesn't have anything to do with any of this other stuff. That's the answer.
It does help.
Okay.
All right. Well, oh, yeah,
Sorry, can I ask you 2 non-Bible related questions?
maybe.
So the first one is, since the last meeting, your guys' big goal has been transparency. So I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
how many open records requests have you guys been able to tackle yet? Have you guys started that process?
So when I got here, 2 weeks ago, I think we had 77 outstanding. As of yesterday, we had 65 outstanding. So we've been able to push a few off the plate, but we've made some process changes that I think will help quite a bit. And I'm excited to work with the team to really make that a very efficient process, because the folks that are filing those open records requests, assuming that they're doing so legally, they have a right to that information. And so we're going to get better at that.
And then my second question is, I know the agenda hasn't been posted for the next meeting yet, but every meeting I've been to, there's been a big conversation on board members being able to put agenda items in. Are they able to do that this time around? What's that looking like?
Yeah, I can tell you that the last agenda was created with the input of board members, and moving forward, Superintendent Fields will be working with them to create those board agendas, and our general counsel, of course. We like to stay legal. Good questions. All right, if you guys are done with me, I'm going to go eat lunch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.